Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a dialogue that might just change how you think about love, relationships, and, all those hidden power struggles that seem to pop up within them. So, here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with a conflict that I'm sure is going to feel familiar. Then we'll get into the real reasons so many relationships hit a wall. After that, we'll explore a powerful shift in thinking that can lead to a much deeper connection. Okay. Let's dive right in.
All right, so let's kick things off with a struggle that pretty much everyone has dealt with. That classic tug of war between wanting to live your own life and feeling the pressure from the people who love you, especially, your parents.
This line, from a daughter to her mother, really nails that feeling, doesn't it? The sense that her life isn't really hers to live. And, according to the master in the story we're looking at, that's not just some teenage angst. It's a huge insight. Why? Because think about it. If you live a life someone else picked for you, you're always going to blame them when things get tough. But if you choose your own path, even if you stumble, even if you fail, it's different. It's your failure. You own it. And you can still find something to be grateful for in that journey. This really begs the question, right? What's the real damage we do when we force our own ideas on someone else, even when we think we're just trying to help? The text we're exploring is super clear on this. When you strip away someone's choice, their ability to decide for themselves, you're not just making a decision for them. You're planting the seeds for a lifetime of resentment. Okay, so let's dig into this. This huge misunderstanding that the master in our text says basically poisons modern relationships right from the get-go. Okay, here's an idea that might sting a little. We say it all the time, right? I'm looking for a partner I can rely on. But what do we really mean when we say that? The master in our story argues that this phrase is, well, kind of deceptive. A lot of the time, what we're secretly saying is, I want someone who will serve my needs. Someone to cook, to clean, to make money. We're not actually looking for a partner. We're looking for a servant for our own little kingdom. So you can see where this is going. What happens when two people get together and both of them have the secret emperor mindset? You get an instant power struggle. It's not a partnership anymore. It's a battle for a single throne. Every single day becomes a little war over who's going to serve who. It's a relationship that is basically designed to fail from the very start. But why do we have this desire to be the emperor? Well, it comes from something deeper, something our source text calls fian now, or affliction. Let's take a look at how this inner poison really works. So, affliction. You know this feeling. It's that storm inside you, the fear, the jealousy, the desperate wanting. It's that voice in your head that just takes over when you're terrified of losing something, or someone. It completely hijacks your rational brain. And when you act from that place of fear, you're not guided by wisdom anymore. You're being driven by your own worst enemy. The story of a character named Upati shows this perfectly. She's terrified she's going to be abandoned, and she gets totally consumed by this affliction. It pushes her to tell a massive, catastrophic lie, that she's pregnant, trying to trap the man she's with. But that desperate act, born from pure fear, it doesn't save her. It actually guarantees her own downfall. The master has this really powerful way of describing affliction. He says when you're in its grip, every move you make to try and fix things, every little lie, every manipulation, it's like you're just pulling a rope around your own neck even tighter. You become the main cause of your own suffering. Okay, so if trying to be an emperor is a total trap and possessiveness is just poison, what's the alternative? What are we supposed to do? Well, this dialogue gives us a pretty radical and honestly a much healthier way to think about love. To find that alternative, first, we have to understand the difference between two kinds of love discussed in the text. On one side, you've got tin, which is this possessive, conditional kind of affection. It's a love that's all about getting. But on the other side, you have yo, which is true, selfless love. And this kind of love isn't about what you can get at all. It's about what you're willing to give. And this right here, this is where everything flips on its head. True love, or yo, it asks you to give up the throne completely. Instead of looking for an emperor or trying to be one yourself, you choose to serve. The goal becomes finding real joy in supporting the other person, in being their rock, That is the real antidote to the power struggle.
And this idea is captured perfectly in a line from Khalil Gibran's The Prophet, which gets a shout-out in the dialogue. True love, yeol. It isn't some kind of deal where you trade affection for chores. It's a state of being. The joy is in the act of giving itself. It's complete on its own.
Okay, this all sounds great in theory, right? But how do you actually do this when you're in the middle of a disagreement? Well, the last part of our explainer gives us a really practical framework for handling conflict with clarity, not with all that messy affliction. So, what do you do when you disagree? Forget the shouting match. The master suggests this simple 3-step process. Step 1, just communicate. Calmly lay out the why behind your point of view. No drama. Step 2, compare the logic. Look at both arguments together and figure out which one just makes more sense. And then step 3, if you're still stuck, test it against reality. Let one person try their approach, but with the clear agreement that they take full responsibility for how it turns out. See, this whole framework is built on a really simple but powerful idea. Truth isn't fragile. A correct principle or a wise choice can handle being questioned. It can handle being tested in the real world. So there's no need to get angry or try to force things. If you're right, the results will speak for themselves. So after all of this, we're left with this final, really provocative thought. The whole dialogue is basically suggesting that maybe we've been pointing our search for love in the completely wrong direction. Instead of looking for an emperor to serve us or trying to find a subject to command, maybe the real path to a deep, meaningful connection is about transforming ourselves, about learning how to give, how to serve, and how to love without needing to possess. Maybe the real journey isn't finding the one, it's becoming the one.